Hi, this is Bill Appleton, the CTO at Metazoa. Metazoa builds a suite of applications that help Salesforce administrators keep their org running smoothly. Our flagship product, Snapshot, contains all of the different capabilities, and we also have individual solution centers for technical debt removal, documentation and compliance, security and profile management. A lot of people use our relational data migration tools and metadata deployment tools for org splits and mergers. But today, let's focus on the technical debt capabilities that Snapshot has that will help you not only detect technical debt, but also remove it from your org. Here in Snapshot, most of the technical debt reduction capabilities are under the Optimize menu. Let's take a look at the Field Usage Report. Now, this report will show you all of your objects down the left-hand side. You can select them with a filter, by name, or you can just select all records. When you go to the Preview Report tab, Snapshot analyzes each field in that object and generates a color-coded report showing you fields that are underutilized, fields that are marginal, and fields that are definitely being used properly. You can see the total number of records, the number of used records, empty records, records with the default value, and the total number of distinct values in that particular field. You can also see when the field was created and last modified. If you select a field, you can see the most popular values and least popular values over here at right. If you click the Edit Compliance button, you can actually make changes to the Salesforce compliance information for any field. When you advance to the Display Report tab, Snapshot builds a report of all the selected objects. This report shows all of the different objects with the fields that are being underutilized and properly utilized across your org. You can export this report in any number of formats, and we also have dashboards that can be exported in any number of formats as well. If you click the Smart Deploy button, all of the fields that are being underutilized will be added into our deployment interface. And now you can go in and actually remove those fields from your org as necessary. Now let's take a look at the Forgotten Assets report. This report will show you over 50 metadata types listed here on the left. And for each type, it will tell you whether that metadata is hidden, inactive, not installed correctly, or simply not being used anywhere. Let's look at email templates. A number of my email templates are not referenced by any other metadata asset. Email templates that are working correctly are referenced by workflows, or Apex classes, or approval processes. Let's look at custom tabs. A number of my custom tabs are not visible in any profile or permission set. Let's look at flow definitions. A number of flows are not active. In other flows, it shows you the active version. All I have to do is check all of these boxes over here at left and go to the Display Report tab. This will show me all of the active and inactive assets for each metadata type that I selected. Once again, all I have to do is go into Smart Deploy and I can remove those types from my org. The last activity date report will show you reports, dashboards, and email templates that have not been used recently. You can select the assets over here at left and go to the Display Report tab, and a complete report is generated on everything that's being used or not being used. All kinds of additional information is provided. For example, when each report was created, modified, last run, the first activity date, the last activity date, and also a report link, which will take you directly into the Lightning experience to look at each report. Once you've put all of this information together, you can either export it in any format or click Smart Deploy and go directly into our deployment tools for org cleanup. We also have reports for Apex code quality and coverage. Let's look at the quality report. This report shows you all of your Apex classes and triggers down the left-hand side and quality information here in the middle. It covers all kinds of different categories such as security, documentation, error-prone, and other issues. If you select any line in the report, you can see the actual part of the Apex that's causing the problem. If you go to the Display Report tab, we'll show you all of the selected classes and all of their quality information with different errors that range from optional to suggested, recommended, required, and mandatory. Over here on the right, there's a documentation link that takes you right to additional information for each problem. We also have detailed dashboards that are very helpful for executive summary and team meeting covering all of the different issues with Apex in your org. Now let's take a look at the Inactive User Cleanup Report. You might not realize this, but a lot of orgs have more inactive users than active ones. And in fact, inactive users can remain connected to your Salesforce org in over 50 different ways. This report will show you all of the connections between any user you select and your org. So for example, let's select an active user over here, and now we can look at their user permissions, their licenses, data connections, metadata connections, where their email address is used, what team memberships they have, and also their folder sharing information. Let's just check all of those options. And when we go to the Preview Report tab, we get a comprehensive accounting of everywhere that this user is connected to the org. Now this gets really interesting when you start looking at inactive users, because when inactive users are connected to your org, a lot of bad things can happen. Let's take a look at that report. Now we see that this inactive user has a lot more problems to look at. For example, they've been assigned a package license, a paid package license, and they're inactive. They've been assigned other permission set licenses. They're the members of various groups and roles and queues. They have Apex notification emails still attached to their email address. They have all kinds of other team memberships and information that you should look into. Now, this report does more than just show you all of these problems. If you go to the User Cleanup tab, you can actually generate a report and clean up all of the problems. You can choose whether to simply delete, for example, the package license ownership or transfer it to another user. You can also clean up all of the ownership of objects that an inactive user might have and transfer those to another user. Once again, when you select any number of users over here at left, you go to the Display Report tab, and Snapshot will generate a comprehensive report that shows you all of the connections between these users and your org, and has some really nice features. For example, links directly into each asset that's causing the problem. Once again, you have both reports that can be exported in any format and dashboards that are there for your executive team and presentations. Now I want to show you the impact analysis report that Snapshot has. This report will let you select any of the 220 metadata types over here on the left-hand column. Let's select, for example, custom objects, and then any one of the actual assets over here at right. On the next tab, you can select the metadata types that you want to include in the report. I've selected all types. And then on the View Dependency tab, it actually draws a picture of the selected metadata asset and everything that refers to it on the left and everything that it refers to on the right. So for example, we can see that the count object refers to a group of 5 fields. Let's open that up and we can see what those fields are. It refers to standard value sets. Many things refer to the account object, as you might guess, including permission sets, quick actions, report types, sharing rules, workflows, all kinds of different things reference the account object. We can drill into any of this. So for example, let's look at the page layouts that represent the account object. And you can also select any of these and you can say trace path, and it'll show you how this asset is connected to the account object. You can also say go here, and it will start from that asset in the center and now show you all of the things that it is connected to. So for example, here's custom objects, fields, and everything else. So this is an incredibly powerful way to browse through all of the dependencies in your Salesforce org. And our impact analysis report covers over 1,200 different connections between metadata assets. So it's extremely complete. And so just to give you an example, let's say that you're thinking of deleting a particular field. Well, then you could go there and say, okay, what is this connected to? Well, it's not connected to many things, but some things are connected to it. And you could then decide whether it would be wise to delete this or whether it would cause problems. So this is really a powerful way to understand how your org is put together and what depends on what. So we've shown some of the ways you can use Snapshot to remove technical debt from an org. In more extreme cases, you may need to actually re-architect the org to some extent, especially in an org reboot or clone or merger or split. And we offer some great tools for that We have very powerful free-form deployment tools that are good for administrative changes to orgs. So you can actually make hundreds or even thousands of deployments very quickly and get that destination org into the shape that you want it to be in. Not really going to go through a full demo of that here. The other thing we offer for org splits, clones, and mergers is our dataset to migrate and manage dataset capability, which will move connected sets of data between Salesforce orgs. And these migration tools are very, very powerful, and they keep everything connected and done correctly. So that's another capability there for org splits and mergers. All right, thank you so much for viewing this brief video about technical debt and Snapshot.